This podcast is brought to you by Mapper Forward's new Patreon community, the Global Coffee Think Tank. Check the show notes or head to patreon.com/mapperforward to find out how you can become a member today. Mashael Alhumaidan, welcome back to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward. Today we are going to talk about sensory branding. What is it and how do we use it better in the coffee world to make more successful businesses and brands?
Well, similar to all marketing branding, there is strategies that are used particularly for the sensory branding, in which it starts particularly by understanding first your business. What do you want to do? Like, how do you want to serve your coffee? There are, again, going back to that point, there are millions of cafes that are serving coffee. How would you serve your coffee different? What are you adding to the consumer? Why would they choose to come to your place, not any other cafes? That is something you really need to sort out at the very beginning of the draft plan of your business. Once this is figured out, you can brand all around it. So, for example, when we talked about the decoration, the lighting, the colors of the furniture, and also how do you choose the furniture? Whether you want them to be casual or classic. Do you want people to sit and read for hours and work in this place? So you might want to put more lighting into it. If you want people just to grab a coffee and meet friends, then you will dim the lights a little bit and just have these cozy, close,
more intimate
spaces as well. If it's a social place, that means that it will have more music or louder music. So there are a lot of things that you would be engaging the senses. And believe it or not, our senses control our actions much more than we expect. For example, if you want to work somewhere and you go to this very loud place, you will find yourself exhausted because you are way occupied. So you will just gather your things looking for somewhere else to do that. On the contrary, if you're very lonely one day and you go to this loud place, seeing people coming in and out, and there is absolute
energy,
energizing, and energizing coffee aromas as well. And, that would definitely make you stay longer in this place. And feeling that this is the vibe you need now.
I get a lot of questions from consulting clients that are saying, we don't want this to be a cafe where people come and sit with their laptops. So from what I'm hearing you say, essentially use the sensory experiences around the cafe to signal to customers without having to be obvious about it, that this is not the place to come and sit with your laptop and do your work for 8 hours.
Yes.
Turn up the music.
Go ahead. Music, selection of the furniture itself. So basically, if you're putting these really comfy, spacious tables and you have cables all around, people will get the impression that this is a place I could work in.
It's a library.
Exactly. One of the main, I would say the main tips, if you don't want people to work in your place, just don't put any blocks for the laptops.
Yeah.
Exactly. And don't keep the chairs high and tables high. Keep them a bit lower. Lower chairs and, tea tables are not good for working. It's absolutely a gathering place. So you're basically branding for yourself, and also you're matching the identity when we were talking about define what you want very early in the process, so you can base all of these things going forward. Also, colors, by the way, plays an important role.
How so?
Like, for example, if you want a place that is really energetic and you want people from a certain age comes to this place and just, stay for a couple of hours and go, you would absolutely pick some energy colors like red, yellow, those real, energizing colors that also catches those, I wouldn't call them teenagers, but younger adults
Gen
that
Z.
likes these. Exactly. If you want different type of people to come to your cafe, like you want people to stay but not to work,
Mm-hmm.
you could actually make it obvious. You can have also some place for cigars outdoor and
Mm-hmm.
get, these dark classic colors, dark green, dark brown. This gives the impression that this is a place to chill and
Oh,
have a real nice coffee with my friends, not alone, but it's never for work.
from a taste perspective, how can you choose your customers based on taste?
Based on taste. Well, let's agree on pleasing all audiences or all consumers. It's impossible.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so you really need to define who you want to serve and then serve them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So a great example of that is that most of the cafes in Saudi Arabia, unfortunately, they don't serve coffee. For me, it's not coffee. Whatever they're doing, it's not coffee.
Like
It's not
everybody,
because
you've been ruined by that.
yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm a classic person and I like my coffee black. I'm open. I try everything. However, whatever they're calling coffee, it's not coffee. Yeah,
Hello.
like there's like 5% of coffee,
Oh
and
no.
there are a lot of sweeteners and flavors and milk and water. God,
Right.
God only knows. So why they're doing very well?
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently there is a huge portion of the consumer
Mm-hmm.
in the market who likes their coffee that way.
Or they think that this is coffee. This is their definition. Coffee should be sugary. It should be milky.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
Exactly. The classic cup of coffee for them, it's irrelevant. They don't like it. And these businesses are smart because, I mean, I've tried some of these beverages. They're okay. They're
Well, some of them are downright
consumable.
delicious because they're liquid dessert.
They are actually. If you're into that things, they taste really good.
But they're not really coffee. They're liquid desserts.
They're not
That's the
coffee.
difference, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, there is a percentage of coffee, but for me, I wouldn't call it coffee, honestly. It's
Right.
totally different. Like, for example, myself, if I want to drink something refreshing at a later time of the day, I would go for those because
Mm-hmm.
they won't alert me, such as a whole cup of coffee.
Right. So,
Yeah,
so if we want to appeal to the masses, it sounds like hit the sweet end of the sensory palette of taste.
if it's in Saudi Arabia or the Middle East, yes, sweet is
Or
the key.
America or Australia, like it just
Oh,
seems to
really?
be yeah. I mean, we have a much more developed coffee culture here from the consuming end. So consumers are used to going and getting 3 lattes throughout the day from their favorite cafe. But the latte will usually come with 2 sugars.
Okay.
So they expect really great quality coffee that they're going to add sugar to.
Oh my God, that's so unfair for the coffee.
But and so this is where I get conflicted. Is it unfair for the coffee business and unfair for the coffee? Shouldn't we? And I really don't know the answer to this. Shouldn't we just let the customer decide
I
what
mean, yes, but
is good?
yes,
Go on.
absolutely. For me, I would say I'm like I'm being sentimental here, like because the way I love my coffee and the way I know what coffee goes through to come to my cup,
Yep.
the struggle and the journey and everything.
Yep.
it's unfair to really just, let all of that vanish and just add too many things to flavor the coffee. However, at the end of the day, business is a business. People wants to make money. So the smartest decision, absolutely, it's to see what my consumer wants and give it to them and deliver it at the best way possible. Absolutely, that's smart business.
The other way that we approach that is it's similar, but just from a different direction. Choose who the customers are that you want to appeal to. This is, from the context of consulting work that I do with coffee businesses around the world. Choose who the customers are that you would like to be of service to, and then build a customer acquisition plan that deliberately exposes your brand to those people and gives them the option of choosing whether they want to come and have the experience that you want. And so we take a problem-solving perspective to business. Find a problem that your consumers, your ideal consumers have, and solve it for them and monetize that solution. So for using that as an example, Saudi Arabia doesn't, until that existed, it didn't have a cafe that serviced people who were looking for what you're looking for, which is excellence from a holistic sensory experience. And so because of that, we're not going to target people who want to spend 12 rial on a coffee. They're not looking for an excellent experience. They're looking for an average experience. They're looking for the sugary experience. So the market that we've had to target through the customer acquisition planning is, okay, we're solving a problem. We're giving you the experience you're looking for with coffee, but we have to let you know that we're here. How do you know that we're here how can you know to buy the product if you don't know that we're here? So rather than bending to the will of the people that come in, and there are a lot of people that are coming in saying, but I want you to do this, and but I want you to do that, and but I want this, and but I want that. But that's not what that offers. That is offering an experience that is based on excellence in your sensory experience, which comes with its own kind of education process, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of the time, people don't know that what that has to offer is what they could be experiencing.
Yes,
so,
and
go ahead.
You just reminded me of the niche concept.
Oh, yeah.
It's like defining a niche, and there is a huge market for niche products around the world. And this is basically how it starts. You target consumers of a particular, actually, as you said, that you don't target consumers, you try to show yourself like a showcase to your consumers, and they will find you.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot harder to do than most people think it is.
It is, absolutely, because if you're talking about niche, it's niche. It's something that is unique, and not many people like it, maybe, or they like it, they don't know that it exists. So there are many factors to it. However, the niche people always find their ways to the niche products they want, because they consistently look for them.
As somebody who grew a niche brand, Elixir Specialty Coffee, the journey is fascinating with the Elixir Specialty Coffee brand, because it is a brand new category in coffee. And it's a brand new category in coffee that breaks people's brains from a sensory experience. They taste it. They know that the product has 2 ingredients, coffee and water. And they know that a brewed coffee also has 2 ingredients, coffee and water, the same thing. How can you have 2 products made from the same ingredients that taste so different, polarizingly different, and look so polarizingly different? One is golden clear, the other is dark and non-transparent. And so how do you get these 2 things call them, they're both coffee experiences, and you taste this thing that's clear and golden, and all of a sudden, the very, very delicate, nuanced flavors that you were tasting in the dark brown stuff is now highlighted in the Elixir. And this is one of those things that the intellectualization of the experience really got in the way of people being able to just enjoy it. They tasted
I can't wait to try it.
I promise you, once we relaunch, I'm going to personally send you a box, inshallah. But it was really, really fascinating to watch people, different kinds of people experience it, because the coffee people would drink it and immediately go from tasting it to, I got to figure this out. They immediately intellectualized it and went, I got to figure out, because we kept the brew method a secret. It's still a secret. And they immediately tried to replicate it, not stopping for, am I enjoying this or not? They bypassed that. They went straight to, I got to figure this out. On the other side, cigar smokers, what we heard from them was, this is my new whiskey. So usually what they would do is they would have a cigar and a whiskey to chill out in the evenings. They were now pairing it, cigars and Elixir, as their new kind of sensory experience. So this kind of niche approach to things is fascinating and really, really exciting, but magnitudes more difficult than it is exciting.
Absolutely.
Like, it comes on the verge of breaking you, let me tell you, because trying to understand, like, if I had to do that whole thing again, I would get a sensory scientist involved to help me understand how I can bypass some of the problems that we were having with, for example, coffee people intellectualizing the sensory experience that they were having, and trying to figure out how we can make that more enjoyable for them rather than make it a challenge, because the challenge didn't work in our favor. So
absolutely, a sensory scientist would definitely add a lot of value to such concepts in particular, because niche also comes with a fight back or resistance, because it's new, it's never been there. So yeah, you're actually you're tackling a lot of other areas other than the senses as well, which needs to be
managed. And as an entrepreneur, I wasn't prepared for that. I just wanted to create a product and create the best possible all-round sensory experience of this product. I wasn't aware for the kind of political backlash I got from the coffee politics that was associated with it. But that's a whole other discussion about stuff that's got nothing to do with sensory science. Fun times. And people on this podcast, I'm sure, have heard quite enough of my stories about that. What I want to talk to you about in the next episode is the relationship between the subjectivity of taste and the science of taste. What do you reckon?
Let's do this.
Let's do it. All right. Peace, love, and peanut butter, everybody. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks, friends. If you enjoyed this video, here's what you should check out next. Consider supporting Map It Forward on Patreon, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell before you leave.